Good morning, dear students. Today we will study Chapter 13, Sound. This video is part 2 of Chapter Sound. In previous video, part 1 video, we studied how sound is produced, how sound propagates, and we studied that sound needs a medium for propagation. We studied how sound is produced by human beings, how a human ear works. We studied about musical instruments. We also studied characteristics of vibrations. So in this video part 2, we'll study about characteristics of sound such as loudness, pitch. Then we will study about audible and inaudible sounds. After that, we'll see the difference between noise and music. And lastly, we will discuss about noise pollution. So let's start with characteristics of sound. So characteristics of sound. A sound can be recognized by its characteristics like loudness and pitch. First, I am starting with loudness. Loudness of sound, it depends on amplitude of vibrations of vibrating object. So, loudness of a sound, it depends on the amplitude of vibrations of vibrating object. Amplitude we have discussed in part 1 video, but let me remind you one more time. Amplitude means maximum displacement of a vibrating body from its central position. So here let's try to understand that how loudness it depends on the amplitude of vibrations. So here you can see this black line, it is indicating string at rest. In both the cases you can see this black line, it is indicating string at rest. Let's take the example of any stringed instrument like sitar, guitar, etc. In that in those instruments we know that strings, they are tied tightly between 2 points. So, and when the string it is plucked, the string starts vibrating and produces sound. So, we have taken the example of a string that has been tied between 2 points. So, in this case, when the string it will be plucked lightly, so the string will start vibrating with the small amplitude. And the sound will be produced, and in this case sound produced will be a feeble sound. Feeble means halki. So, in this case sound produced will be a feeble sound. Now, let's move on to the situation B. In this case, stretch the string tightly. So what will happen in this case? The string will start vibrating with a large amplitude. And in this case, sound produced will be loud sound. So in this case, when we stretch the string lightly, so it was vibrating with the small amplitude. And in that case, sound produced was feeble sound. But here, when the string it is vibrating with the larger amplitude, in this case, it produced loud sound. So it clearly indicates that loudness of sound, it depends on the amplitude of vibrations of vibrating object. You can do one more, you can perform one more activity at your home. So as to understand this, so as to understand the relation of the loudness of sound between the amplitude of vibrations of the vibrating body. So here one activity has been given in your book on page number B43. So here you can see it's very easy. The material is available very easily. It will be available at home. Just take one steel tumbler, take one spoon, and you have to tie one small thermocol bowl with the help of a thread. Okay, so just say to someone to hold this thermocol bowl with the help of the thread and just attach it to the rim of this steel tumbler. Then what you have to do, just strike the spoon gently on this steel tumbler. You will notice that this thermocol bowl, it will be pushed to a smaller distance. What will happen when we will strike the steel tumbler with the spoon? So in that case, the sound will be produced because the steel tumbler, it will start vibrating and the sound will be produced, because in this case we have strike the spoon with the steel tumbler gently. So in this case, the glass will start vibrating with the smaller amplitude and the sound produced will be feeble. So now what you have to do in the next case, now you have to strike this steel tumbler with the help of this spoon. You have to strike hard steel tumbler with this metal spoon. So in this case, you will notice that the thermocol bowl, it will be pushed to a larger distance. And in this case, the sound produced will be loud, because in this case, the glass tumbler will be vibrating with the larger amplitude and the sound produced will be loud. So the loudness of sound, it depends on the amplitude of vibrations of the vibrating object. What is the exact relation between the loudness and the amplitude of vibrations? So loudness of sound, it is directly proportional to square of amplitude of the vibrations of vibrating object. That means if in case of any vibrating object, in case of any vibrating object, amplitude of the vibration it increases 2 times, then in that case loudness of sound it will become 4 times. But if amplitude of vibrations of any vibrating object, if it increases 3 times, then in that case loudness of sound it will become 9 times. If we talk how it is measured, loudness of sound, it is measured in decibel. So the loudness of sound, it is measured in decibel, which is represented by dB. So this was all about characteristics loudness. After this, now we will move on to pitch. Pitch of any sound produced, it is directly proportional to the frequency of the vibrations of vibrating body. So what I spoke, that pitch of the sound produced, it is proportional to frequency of vibrations of vibrating object. Let's revise one more time. What is frequency? Frequency of vibrations means the number of vibrations produced by any vibrating body in 1 second is the frequency of the vibrations of that vibrating body. So, if the frequency of the vibrations produced by any vibrating body, if it is high, so in that case sound produced will be high pitch sound. But if the frequency of the vibrations produced by any vibrating body, if this is low, then the sound produced will be low pitch sound. Let's try to understand it with the help of one example. The sound produced by beating of drum is low pitch sound, but if we take the example of sound produced by the blowing of whistle, that is high pitch sound. Because if we take the example of beating of drum, then in that case the membrane of the drum it vibrates with low frequency, because of which sound produces low pitch sound. But in case of blowing of whistle, when we are blowing the whistle, then inside the whistle the air vibrates with high frequency, because of which the sound produced is high frequency sound. So that is a high pitch sound. Okay, so I hope this is clear. If we differentiate between these two characteristics, loudness and pitch, loudness of any sound, it depends on the square of amplitude of the vibrations of the vibrating object. But in case of pitch of sound produced, pitch of any sound produced, it depends on the frequency of the vibrations of that vibrating object. I hope this is clear. Now we will talk about audible and inaudible sounds. Audible and inaudible sounds. What is the meaning of audible sound? We know that sound is produced by vibrating object. But do we human beings, can we hear all the sounds produced by vibrating objects? So answer is no. Why? Let's try to understand. We human beings, we can hear the sound of the frequencies lying in this range. Okay, so the sounds which have the frequency more than 20 hertz or less than 20 kilohertz, we human beings, we can hear those sounds. Then this range is known as audible range of sound. This is audible range. This is known as audible range. So what about the sounds having frequency less than 20 hertz or the sounds having frequency more than 20 hertz, or you can say 20 kilohertz? So the sounds having frequency less than 20 hertz are known as infrasonic sound. That is known as infrasonic sound. And the sounds having frequency more than 20 kilohertz, they are known as ultrasonic sound. Okay, so let's revise one more time. We human beings, we can hear the sound having frequency in this range, means from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. We can hear those sounds which have the frequency lying in this range. And this range, it is known as audible range, because we human beings, we can hear the sounds having frequency which are lying in this range, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. And the sounds having frequency more than 20 kilohertz are known as ultrasonic sound waves. And the frequency, the sound having frequency less than 20 hertz is known as infrasonic sound. So, this was about the audible range. So, for us, for human beings, the sounds having frequency more than 20 kilohertz becomes inaudible sound. We cannot hear that. But there are some animals that can hear ultrasonic sounds, like dogs, bats, monkeys. They can hear ultrasonic sounds. This ultrasonic sound, it is very useful for us. It has many applications. Ultrasonic sound, it reflects like ordinary waves, ordinary sound waves, and produces echo. The echo produced by the ultrasonic sound, it cannot be heard by human beings, but it can be detected by a special equipment. So the ultrasonic sound, or you can say ultrasound, it is used as a diagnostic tool so as to investigate inside of the human beings. Secondly, ultrasound, it is also used so as to study the growth of the fetus growing inside the mother's womb. Ultrasound, it is also used to locate underwater objects, and it is also used to measure the depth of sea or ocean. So this was about some applications of ultrasonic sound. Now after this, the last topic, after this the next topic is the difference between noise and music. Now we will study the difference between noise and music. Let's start with music. The sounds which are pleasant to hear are called musical sounds or music. But if we talk about noise, the unpleasant sounds around us are called noise. So the definition is clearly telling that music means the sound which are pleasant to hear, that are musical sounds, or we can say music. But the sounds which are unpleasant, so the unpleasant sounds around us are known as noise. But what is the another difference? Music, it is produced because of the periodic and the regular vibrations of the vibrating body. But if we talk about the noise is produced because of the irregular vibrations of the sound producing source. So this is the another basic difference between music and noise. The next topic is noise pollution. Noise pollution is a serious issue because it impacts our health. So let's try to understand what is noise pollution. Presence of loud and unwanted sounds in the environment is known as noise pollution. So if we talk about the causes, then what can be the causes for noise pollution? Let's start with our homes. So the playing loud music systems, and in the kitchen appliances like mixer, grinder, etc. And the noise produced because of the construction sites, flying, taking off, landing, and the flying of the aeroplanes, that also creates noise. And the machines in the industries, the loud sounds produced by the machines in the industry, that also creates noise pollution. And the loudspeakers, use of the loudspeakers at the marriage functions and other social functions also creates noise pollution. So these are the some causes of noise pollution. But if we talk about what can be the harmful effects of the noise pollution, that means how it can harm us. So noise pollution, it can cause various health disorders. If we are exposed to the noise pollution for a long time, it reduces the hearing power of the ears. It may lead to hearing impairment. It may lead to the disease called hypertension, that is called high blood pressure also. And during the night time, the loud noise during the night time, it disturbs the sleep, and the continual lack of sleep for many days, it is very bad for health. It may create many other problems. So, and it also affects the concentration power of a human being. It also can cause irritation, headache, etc. So, in short, noise pollution, it affects our health. So, what can be the solution for this? How we can reduce noise pollution? Various steps can be taken so as to reduce noise pollution. For example, use of the loudspeaker should be minimized, And the unnecessary honking on the roads, it should be minimized. And the industries that should be set up far away from the residential areas. And the loud music should not be played. At home, we can use various sound absorbing materials like cushion, curtains, etc. And planting the trees on the roadsides, it also helps in reducing noise pollution. So these were some measures that can be taken to reduce noise pollution. So this was all about the chapter sound. Thank you.